Hey, I just want to thank you guys for sticking around after service. This is such a special thing, for people to get baptized, and we have some really neat baptisms that we want to do today. I was telling somebody a while back, with young people these days, the churches need to recommission to disciple middle schoolers, because by the time you get into high school, if there's no foundation, it's easy to have an emotional experience, but then fall away. As you're going through high school and you're going through college, there is such a current in our nation right now. Just a godlessness, And I thank God that we have 3 young people on the roster to be baptized today. And that's why I said that, because these are 3 of the greatest young people in Augusta County right now. I believe that with all my heart. And so I want to just give you this one verse. This is when John the Baptist was baptizing. And it's from Mark chapter 1. I think it's one of the greatest verses on baptism. And it just says, the messenger of John the Baptist, he lived in the wilderness and was preaching that people should be baptized to show that they have turned from their sins and turned to God to be forgiven. And that's what baptism is about. It is a showing of your family, of the people who mean the most to you, and basically making a declaration to the whole world. I've given my life to Christ. And I've decided you reach a certain age where you're like, I think I want to be a Christian. I think I'm making this decision. I want to follow God the rest of my life. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And these people are doing that today. And so I want to let me get the old person out of the way. We got Brandy Muma. You're not old. You're not, yeah. So the way we do this, as you get into the water, just share your story, whatever you want to share. It can be short if you're not a big public speaker, but basically just let everyone know, this is what Jesus means to me, and this is why I'm doing this right now, and because we love to hear stories. Yeah.
Well, mine's not short.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not a public speaker, so I had to write it.
Podcast 1.5, 2.
I've contemplated over the last few years about getting baptized. I've talked to a few people in church about it and still have never made the commitment. I couldn't because my heart wasn't ready. God needed me to go through a lot more events in my life before he was ready for me to make this commitment and change my heart and my life. 7.5 years ago, I realized I couldn't teach my oldest son about Jesus the way he needed to be taught about him. I decided to start going to church. I visited a few before I found one I felt like I fit. After a year of attending a big church in Harrisonburg, I gave my life to Christ on Mother's Day, May 12, 2013. I started reading my Bible and trying to learn more so I could set an example for my son, especially as a single mom. At first, my heart and soul felt new and refreshed, but living the life I lived where I was focused on me and my son and what made us happy, and the atmosphere of the church I was attending, my heart wasn't filled the way it needed to be filled, and I started attending church less and less. In February of 2014, I decided I need to find a better church for me and my boys, as I was 5 months pregnant. Most everyone I asked referred me to Destiny Family Center, and I have been here since with both of my boys. I've experienced more love in God in the last 5 years than I ever have in my life, even with everything I have been through over those 5 years. Monday, June 17th, I felt God put it on my heart that it was time to be baptized. Time to cleanse myself from my past and start a new chapter of life. I was in kids' church this past weekend and watched Sunday's sermon on replay Monday morning. What Robbie prayed over offering and Chuck's sermon touched my heart. I've been taking more than I have been giving my whole life until the past few months. March 24th, my oldest son Deegan had a terrible incident involving a tree, sandals, and lots of blood. The pediatric trauma doctor told us the branch nearly missed his femoral artery. I literally almost lost my child that saved me from a life that could have killed me. Since that day, I have given everything I have to God because he did not take my saving grace from me. Over the last 3 years, I have really struggled with my mental health and my worth on this earth. I've been on anxiety and migraine medication for the last 12 years. I've been in and out of therapy, I've been deployed, I've had 2 children with 2 different men that didn't want to be a family and have gone through a lot of custody and co-parenting battles. I've been in toxic relationships with men who are completely not men of God. Most every man in my life has been a disappointment or left me. I've done my fair share of drinking and drugs and living a careless lifestyle. Just over a year ago, I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, PTSD, and borderline feature disorder due to everything I've been through in my life since I was 5. Last year, I wrecked my Jeep, quite possibly due to my non-driving skills, but nonetheless, it was an accident that the firefighters and paramedics said I shouldn't have walked away from. God kept my Jeep from smashing and crushing when I hit the tree. However, the days and weeks after my accident, I remember thinking, why didn't you just take me out of this world? Why didn't you let me die? I would be better off and the world would be better off without me in it. I know now that God has always been with me and has never left my side. I continue to struggle with anxiety and depression and putting a smile on my face every single day for the last year, so that no one would notice my pain. Just a few weeks before Deegan had his tree climbing accident in March, I decided I didn't want to let my medications and diagnosis control my life anymore. So when the prescriptions ran out, I didn't refill them. I quit cold turkey and have had 0 side effects, withdrawals, or any of that. I've prayed a lot, I've taken many deep breaths, I've counted a lot. Most importantly, I have relied on God a lot. Today I'm happy to say I'm roughly 4 months prescription free, and God is my witness.
Wow. Yeah.
Happier and healthier than I've ever been in my life. I have seen God moving in my life and my children's lives more than ever before. In Matthew 11, Jesus says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." I've done exactly that over the last 4 months, and with the exception of a few things, I'm still learning to trust and let go of some things. Along with the help of an amazing man of God, I can feel that Jesus has done exactly as he promised and has taken my burdens and worries away from my heart.
Awesome. So if Brandy's ever snapped on you, or this is why, but she's an improved person.
I am.
What a great
lot
story.
better.
Okay, so Brandy, according to your confession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Put your hand over your nose. Okay, ready? Is it first time in a cold pool or first time being baptized? Yeah, okay. Kingston, why are you getting baptized today?
Because Jesus loves me and he lives in my heart.
He does. I love this kid. How about you guys? Kingston, you're an awesome kid. Okay, you ready? Put your hand over your nose. Yeah. According to your confession of faith, Kingston, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Yes. Share your story.
When I was little, I broke my skull, and God has purpose for me to share my story and stuff. So, yeah, I want to be reborn to share it.
That's amazing. So I read the story this week that Charity sent me, and I don't know if you guys have heard the story, but it was near-death experience to the very farthest end. She was leaving this world and not coming back, and God did a miracle for her and brought her back into this world, and she's here today, and she has such a good heart. And so, according to your confession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Ready? Father, I pray for Cy right now. I pray for all the people being baptized, that this moment would be very, very special and defining. This is such a great group of people, God. So much love that we have for every person being baptized today. And I just pray, God, as each one of them, as they go under the water and they come up, it's just a sign of the old life going under and a new life coming up. In Jesus' name, amen. So, according to your confession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Put your hand over your nose. Yes. Yeah. So just before he shares his story, so it's not very often you get a text from a young person that says, like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, oh, well, I'm at home working on my sermon. Hey, do you mind if I come over and talk to you? Yeah, sure. And he wanted to tell me about this massive encounter with God that he had just had.
Oh, yeah.
And we spent like all last Saturday on my patio in the morning. When he left the house, I walked in, I'm like, I want to be a pastor for another 20 years. It was just such a powerful moment listening to his story. So I want him to share that with you.
Well, I'll start. My life hasn't been the easiest. When I was probably like when I turned 4, my mom and dad got a divorce, and there's I don't know, just been left and right, mom and dad at one house, just like that. Then when I probably turned 15, my dad went to prison, and that just had a huge impact on me. And he was my best friend, and I didn't know what to do with my life from there, because I loved him so much. And I haven't seen him in 2 years. That's been the hardest. And a year later, I got epilepsy. I've had seizures, and they put me on this medicine, which has just depressed me. So I guess I've had depression since then. And probably a couple weeks ago, I got a big car wreck. And I had no idea how I just got this one scratch from it. And it was just a miracle from God. I'm okay. And then probably a week later, I went to this awesome camp called Rockridge for Young Life. And that just changed my life. Just talking to my leader every day, talking to this guy named Joe Marks, he's a pastor. Just changed my life, just showing, like, I'm not depressed no more, because that's just how awesome that camp was. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That just sparked me to become a better Christian every day. I was like, there's no way I'm leaving this camp without becoming a better Christian. And that was just like, hey, when I get back, I should probably talk to this guy, Chuck. Yeah. And me and my leader just talking every day, just saying, hey, read the book of John, become baptized. And here I am. Yeah, right here. So yeah, that's my story.
James, according to your confession of faith, I now baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
All right.
Father, I just pray a blessing on all these families. Looking out every once in a while, just seeing the smiling moms and dads and aunts and uncles and relatives and friends. This is a joyous moment. I'm glad the weather was good. We got to do it outside. They're going to have this memory forever. But more than a memory of something I did at some point in the past, I pray that each one of these people would have an active, good relationship with you, God, for the rest of their lives, no matter what comes against them. I pray, God, that you would be, like in the sermon today, the greater one inside of them. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless, guys.